Hi everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and today we're talking about Vogoth. I think he is actually the best epic champion in the game. I'm gonna go that far. I'm going that far. I'm saying it. I'm putting it out there. Vogoth is incredible in not just one, but in multiple areas of the game. He can be built in a lot of different ways as well to specialize in those areas. I'm going to show that to you here in today's video. Of course, he is an epic HP-based champion from the Undead Hordes faction and Spirit Affinity as well. Let's take a look at his kit and what makes him so good, because literally everything he does with these moves is amazing, okay? So his A1, horrendous strength, triple hitter. Right, attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 30% chance, that goes up to a 40% chance when it's booked up, of increasing the duration of one random debuff on the target by 1 turn. This is, again, it's a brilliant move. As a triple hitter, that's useful against Fire Knight, but it's really good against any sort of boss, right? We can put him, which I have done, in the Giant Slayer Mastery. And Giant Slayer, actually, when you have a triple hitting move on your A1, will outdamage War Master. It's better than War Master, right? So this actually puts out quite a lot of damage on those bosses in single target. And the debuff extension, it is random. It's got a relatively low chance per hit, but it does sort of add up over time and can actually be very, very useful against that clan boss. If you don't have the best sources of decreased attack, for example, on Demon Lord, it can extend it. When you're running stuff like Geomancer with him, and Geomancer's putting HP burn, and he really wants the HP burn to be on for as long as possible, that little bit of extra extension can also be really good against Doom Tower bosses. So it's a really good solid A1, and of course it's based off of HP. The more HP we give him, the harder this hits. His A2 then, Wave of Revulsion, books down to a 3-turn cooldown. AoE attack, it's got a 75% chance to provoke all enemies for 1 turn, and then it also has a 75% chance of putting decreased attack for 2 turns on targets who receive the provoke debuff from this skill. The damage, once again, is based off HP, and the damage from these 2 moves is actually, it's okay. It's not going to blow your mind or anything, but it's a solid amount of extra damage to bring to your team. This is probably the weakest part of his kit because it is a bit more specific. So against a lot of the bosses in the game that you might want to bring decreased attack against. So I think Demon Lord Clan Boss is a great example. It doesn't really work. You want to just turn this move off, right? Because you need to place the provoke to have a chance to place decreased attack. So this is definitely the weaker part of his kit, but for going through waves in dungeons, for going through waves in faction wars, Doom Tower, in the arena, this AoE with a good chance to provoke, it's still a very solid move, and it combos very well with his passives as well, which we will look at in a second. So there's a bit more to this move than meets the eye. Let's actually, I guess, go to the bit first that makes the most sense, which is his Eerie Presence passive. When attacked, places Leech on the attacker for 2 turns. So just whenever anyone attacks him in general, so long as he has enough accuracy to get over their resistance, he puts Leech on them for 2 turns. This is actually phenomenal. This is so good. So if you are an early game player, you're trying to do the Demon Lord Clan boss, the easiest way to get into higher Demon Lord is probably most people know, if you've been playing the game for a while, if you've been doing your research, is that unkillable teams is the easiest way to do that. You might not have an unkillable champion though, so what do? You're going to be building a more traditional clan boss team, and that's very intensive in gear, because the best way to heal yourself and keep yourself topped up on life and keep your run going as long as possible is to be running War Master or Giant Slayer Masteries, and then having life steal sets which heal you for percentage of the damage, because those masteries do so much damage against the high max HP of the clan boss, gives you a ton of healing. But that requires having the appropriate lifesteal sets for possibly up to 5 champions. Very intensive on gear. Vogoth completely replaces that need. Actually, when I was helping my girlfriend design her first clan boss team, she was actually lucky enough to get Vogoth early on. I was like, get Vogoth in there. Why? He puts Leech on that clan boss. The clan boss, he has 3 attacks. 2 of them are AoEs. So you basically have permanent Leech on the clan boss with Vogoth. That gives you the full effect, essentially, of lifesteal set. So it keeps you really healed up, keeps you really topped up, and it just completely removes the need for lifesteal gear in your clan boss team. And then he's got a great A1 for clan boss, so it's kind of win-win. Really solid. But yeah, it just adds up to a lot of extra healing. Getting that extra Leech out there helps your team top themselves up, stay alive. Very good against bosses. Then the other half of this, is that if the attacker's under provoke debuff, he has a 100% chance when it's booked, 100% chance to increase the cooldown of a random skill on the attacker by 2 turns. This occurs once per attack. This is super good, again, for progressing through different waves of content. So in Faction Wars, this can be really good in Arena as well. But for example, in Faction Wars, what are you going up against in the hardest floor of Faction Wars for Undead Hordes? You're going up against Valkyrie, right, who puts a big AoE shield on her whole team, counterattack, really bad. Doesn't really matter. Vogoth comes in, he puts out this AoE provokes most of them, if not all of them. They come and hit him, and he increases the cooldown on that move by 2 turns. Really good. This is a great move, very much underestimated. And this is kind of what makes his Wave of Revulsion it brings it from being a fairly B tier move, it brings it up higher into more of that A tier. This is a very nice effect, very, very useful for that extra layer of crowd control. It's like, yeah, I lock you out for 1 turn with provoke, and then I possibly lock you out for a whole second turn because you don't have the move that you wanted to use. And then it's not over yet though, guys, because he has not one passive, which has he's got like 2 passives in the one here. He has another passive as well. Whenever this champion's attacked, heals all allies by 50% of the damage received. Fun fact, all allies includes himself. So long as he doesn't just die in one shot, which is going to be difficult because we're going to build him with a lot of HP. So if he survives, he heals everyone by half of the damage received. Only heals by 25% of the damage from boss attacks. This champion only receives half of the heal all other allies receive. Okay, maybe I take it back. I think, I'm not sure if this is only against bosses or what. I'm trying to think. Like, I'm kind of confused because I can show you one of my teams here today where I'm pretty sure he does fully heal from non-boss attacks. I'm pretty sure this might be a boss-only thing. Someone who's done more extensive specific testing can let me know exactly, but I'm pretty sure he does still heal himself for half when it's against like other champions in the arena. But yeah, just an insane passive. Adds up to so much healing. So against, bosses, it's decent. It's an okay amount against bosses. Where this really shines is in the arena. This is god tier in the arena. This is god tier for waves during progress because it's just so much healing. It's a crazy amount of healing. If you saw, I'll show you a little clip here today as well. If you saw my Doom Tower video from yesterday against Bommal, we run multiple Vogoths in there, which means that every time the bombs are going off on Bommal, it's healing us for all of the damage. So no one takes any damage from the bombs. It's ridiculous. Such an insane passive. And then he also has a 40 accuracy in all battles aura, as if that wasn't enough. Now, the interesting thing here is, sorry, my nose is itchy. You do want to place him in the final slot on your team. The idea being that when you use an AoE attack in this game, it's kind of weird, right? It's kind of weird. It's kind of wacky. So I can show you an example of what I mean if I jump over into the arena. So here we go, the battle log. Okay, I actually haven't been attacked with this new team. I switched it in earlier and no one's attacked me, so that's kind of sucks. But you put him in the last slot, yeah? Put him in the last slot because it means that an AoE hit comes out and it actually hits them in order. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. What that means is that Vogoth's passive kicks in after everyone else has taken damage, so then he heals them all back up. So we'll see when we do some arena testing, but very often what happens in the arena is an AoE hit comes out, big massive nuke, and so long as people don't get one shot, so long as they do survive, you'll come out of the nuke on the other side and Vogoth might be on like half health or something, but everyone else will be full health because his healing is kicked in after they've all technically been hit, right? So AoE hits don't sort of happen simultaneously. They all happen sort of it sort of happens one after the other. It's quite a weird, funky thing that does interact with some abilities, such as Vogoth's passive, in an interesting way. So there we go. There's his skills. Let's talk about gearing. How do you want to gear Vogoth? This is a big question. I have a very generalist build right here, as you can probably tell at the initial glance at his gear. So what have I done with this generalist build? I actually still need to roll up his banner. I'm actually seeing, his accuracy banner needs to be rolled up, but for most purposes, it's fine. 330 for most even top-end Doom Tower hard bosses is fine. I could crank it up a bit though for the arena, where extra accuracy would really make a big difference. But here we go. What have I done with him? Crank his attack, sorry, it's not his attack, no attack. Attack does nothing, literally nothing. Crank his HP up as much as you can. I've had to sacrifice a bit of HP to boost up his other stats right here, but HP would be pretty much your number one priority in general. Then I've given him a decent amount of speed, decent amount of defense, nothing crazy though. Nothing crazy in either count. He doesn't need to be super quick. He actually has a decent amount of crit rate. Again, it's not 100%. He's a decent chunk of crit damage, but again, nothing crazy. Resistance, don't bother really with resistance at all. And then give him a good solid chunk of accuracy. And this is your general Vogoth build. This is a Vogoth that can step into any sort of content and perform just fine, but we can also do more specialized versions. So what are the more specialized versions of Vogoth? So for the arena, your arena only, an arena specific Vogoth, I think you got two big options. Option number one is a fun option. It's the curing set, 20% bonus healing. What do we do with this arena Vogoth? We give him HP percentage gloves, HP percentage chest, HP percentage boots. We give him HP ring, necklace, and banner with as much HP percentage substats as possible. And that's all we care about. We simply want this Vogoth to have as much max HP as humanly possible. We don't care at all about speed. We can give him some defense. Some defense is fine too, so he doesn't just get one shot, yeah? But we just don't care about his speed or his crit rate or his accuracy resistance. We don't care about anything. Just give him as much HP as possible, and we just turn him into a healing battery for our team. That's what we're going to do. If you pick up extra stats like some crit rate and stuff along the way, some accuracy, that's a nice bonus. You won't say no to it, but really just going for as much HP as possible so that in the arena, he keeps getting smacked, he keeps taking tons of damage, but keeps healing us up over and over again, and it makes it very difficult for an AoE damage dealer to actually kill our team. The other set that can do something like this for arena is the Guardian set. He absorbs 10% of all damage dealt to ally champions. So this will help us survive and not get one shot by those nuke attacks. So this is more endgamey arena sort of stuff when you're going up against Trundes and things like that that just hit insanely hard in AoE if you don't have reaction accessories and the like, which can mitigate critical hits. This could potentially help your team survive. Yeah, Vogoth will get nuked, but he's kind of doing his job in the arena in that sense. His job is just to be a big punching bag, and this helps him do it well. Also heals him a bit every turn, so that's a good option for the arena. They'd be sort of my two really go-tos there. For running him for Doom Tower, you can run him in a whole bunch of teams. So let me actually cover this really fast. I can show you some of the teams that I have been using him in. So if we zip down here, so these are the actual teams, and I've got videos on these teams already on the channel. So I don't use him on Griffin, but you could, he'd be okay. But for Magma Dragon, he's in my Magma Dragon team. He gives an accuracy aura to the team. And for this, for Magma Dragon, this is a boss that you can actually provoke. In fact, provoke is the main mechanic of the fight. So Vogoth's incredible for this, right? Because he's putting leech on the boss, so he's helping you heal and stay alive. He's healing everyone when he gets smacked, which is good, but he does the AoE provoke. He can therefore also place decrease attack on the Magma Dragon, so he's a phenomenal champ for Magma Dragon just in general. Up against the Nether Spider, he would preferably be in the final position on the team because of the way healing works I've talked about before. I have him again in the lead though because of this accuracy aura. Against this Nether Spider, he's really here to be a punching bag, so we don't care about anything else that he's doing. For this Vogoth, this would be a Vogoth that would be best in a curing set. The Guardian set would be good too, but he might just die. But curing set would work really, really well. A regen set gives him more healing, so that's nice too. I don't use him against Eternal Dragon. He'd be nice. My Bommal team, I actually fished out a third Vogoth. Let me actually show you this team in action in a second here. I actually fished out a third Vogoth, and again, these Vogoths regen set or curing set. Just pump out as much healing as you can. Let me show this one to you against the boss. So it's an update over yesterday where we replaced Godseeker and Eerie with another Bommal. I'll be right back when we actually get to the boss. Alright guys, so here we are again. This is like a repeat of yesterday's video, but I'm aware that probably a lot of people might be Googling, right, this guide, how do I build Vogoth? So to show you guys how it's kind of working, we're going up against Bommal. This is only floor 10 of hard, but this is hard, Doom Tower, and this is what the triple Vogoth can do. Uh-oh, that's very bad. He resisted the burn. Oh, that's probably going to kill us right there. That's very unlucky. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Oh, no. Well, we'll see if we can still make it work. This is going to be a bit spooky, but the idea here is that we're just going to spawn in loads of these bombs, and every time these bombs explode, each Vogoth heals us for 50% of the damage, which means that, unless the bombs one-shot us, each one is actually going to heal us total, the whole team, for 150% of these bombs' explosions, which is completely absurd and absolutely hilarious. So, yeah, we'll see. Now, the way this is supposed to work, we might just get there, is that we're supposed to have Geomancer reflecting the damage onto Bommal with his burn. Okay, we're just back to it. This may work. There we go. The burn is on. Now we have a chance. So we're all stunned. All this stuff is going wrong, but that's okay. We can even potentially extend this burn if we're lucky. But look at these bombs are exploding, and look at the health bars, guys. Like, it's so ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. Boom. Boom, look at this healing. So we do get smacked down, unfortunately, eventually from the Bommal damage himself, right? He killed the level 40 Vogoth who was in here. He got taken out. That is unfortunate. But, I mean, as you can see, the deflected damage from Geomancer is working just fine. And these bombs are effectively turning into healing for us. They can't touch us because of that Vogoth passive. It's completely unique. There's nothing else quite like it in the game. And it's completely absurd. I'm going to be trying to make this team work, and I believe that it absolutely should work. This is a team originally developed by Soda Dragon Gaming. You can check out his videos on this as well for more in-depth detail. I'll try to bring you similar videos later on this Doom Tower rotation when I've actually done this rotation on those harder floors. But for now, as you can see, triple Vogoth, 1 level 60, 1 level 50, and 1 champion, even level 40. And we have taken down Bommal the Dreadhorn on hard difficulty. Not too bad. So you can see the level 40 guy, yeah, he's dying off quicker than the others. He got one shot by Bommal. I mean, the fact that a level 40 can come in and still be even somewhat useful, though, against a Doom Tower hard boss is kind of ridiculous. And then the other two Vogoths, as you can see, it doesn't even matter that he's level 50. He's still doing almost as much healing as our other Vogoth, which is absolutely absurd. It's absolutely absurd. And again, the builds that we have going for these Bommals, for these Vogoths, the other ones don't even have Masteries. They've got no Masteries. They got nothing. These are the stats. It's really, again, curing sets. Give them curing sets if possible. Immortal sets, regen sets, whatever is just going to up their HP and their healing. They don't even need any speed. Just give them as much HP as possible. The level 60 guy is the guy I already showed you. Level 50 is more what I'm sort of aiming at here. So curing sets. He's just got as much HP as I can, and he's picked up some other random stats as we go. Obviously, for the higher floors, we're probably going to need to get them to level 60. Might even need to re-gear this particular Vogoth. Try get them more to around 80,000 health for like floor 90. And I think that should work just fine. They won't be one shot, and they'll just keep healing everyone with those bombs. So there's a little showcase of why Vogoth, why I'm saying he's like the best. Like, there's no one else in the game that can do anything quite like this. Okay, there's Master Butcher, who's an interesting rare that has similar type stuff, but Vogoth is on like another level. So there we go. Let's look at his masteries. So again, I think there's a variety of different masteries that you could build. So potentially you could just go, you could go down defense and support if you're just worried about him staying alive and staying tanky. That might be the way to go for the arena. So going down to something like not Fearsome Presence, but to Bulwark. Decrease the damage all allies receive by 5%. This champion receives that damage instead. So we could build a support and defense Vogoth in a Guardian set specifically for Arena as that punching bag. Big old punching bag, gets really, really nasty as well whenever you pair him with champions that can revive him, where he keeps coming back up and the enemy team is like, why? He just keeps healing them. It's so frustrating. This is a more general build, so we're going down the left-hand side of the support tree. More max HP, more the value of healing, more healing when allies are lower on health, more healing if people are stunned or slapped or feared, and then just some speed when people are dead because there's nothing else to take on that particular tier. And then he's going down the right-hand side of this tree, so a bit more crit rate, more damage when he's low on life. This is not too important. More crit damage, healing when he's low on life, more damage there. Again, this stuff is very optional. Very, very optional. The main thing you're looking for in this tree is Giant Slayer, and then also get him like methodical as well. And this is sort of like a more general build. This is going to be good against bosses. But I mean, you can totally mix it up. Like you could ditch this Grim Resolve and you could grab something like Exalted Death instead. Heals by 10% max HP whenever an enemy's killed in each round. Like that's much better for the arena, for example. That's gonna be really nice to help him stay alive. In fact, maybe I will actually redo his masteries. I mean, I'm pretty fine with them. We could maybe tweak them up. Like it's very flexible. You can do a lot of stuff with this guy depending on what you want him to do. That's the beauty of it. And yeah, for my particular build here, I think he's probably in HP Gauntlets. Yeah, HP Gauntlets. He has a HP chest, I think. It's only 5-star, though, so we could crank that up. But, you know, I haven't even bothered to glyph the speed. Doesn't really need it. He does have speed boots, defense, HP, and attack, of course. You can see the substats, though. And then he has, for me, he has a defense ring. I think I didn't have a good HP ring. And he has this. We can actually, while we're here, why the heck not? We'll slap him a bit of a better glyph. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, 1% more HP. It's like a whole new Vogoth. It's incredible. I won't even recognize him in action now. It's going to be great. Over here, like we could glyph this a bit more. I've got him in a crit damage neck and accuracy banner. This is the generalist build. You can, of course, you can ditch the crit damage neck and give him more health if that is what you need. So we saw him for some Doom Tower stuff. Let's see him in arena. Let's go see this dude in the arena where he's also really, really good. So I think there's a couple of teams here where I think he could be really nice, at least to try out. So first of all, let's try out this sort of team. So this could be a cool team. We might just get one shot. It's always possible. But this is the sort of team I'm trying to run. The danger here is that I don't have reaction accessories on these characters. So we might just get one shot because there's a lot of damage going in. But if they don't one shot us, hopefully they won't. We can see hopefully how much damage he is reflecting. So we put it to 1x speed here. We can see he's going to put some poisons on us. This smack comes in, and look at that. Everyone is basically at full health because of this. Let's see how much damage he does. Bam, the hit comes in. She took some damage, but the rest of us are pretty healthy here thanks to him soaking it up and tanking. So now we're going to come in. Let me take it off auto for a second. Who's going to go next? Look at this. The big hit from him. Everyone's full health, right? So Vogoth, he's dropping down. He's getting beaten up, but it's totally okay. It's totally okay. Bam, he's going to smack Arbiter. Doesn't do too much damage, but he's doing a little bit. You know, let's take all these debuffs off. Let's put those on Arbiter with our Helior. You can check out, again, more of this team. It's been in my last few videos. Please don't kill her. No, never mind. We're fine. Look at that Vogoth healing coming in once again. She's full health. What was I even worried about? We just want to kill off Arbiter, so we'll smack Arbiter again. Why not? Now, Mother Cybele can come in, but you can see this team in action in the Stone Skin Helior video. You can see it in action. Look, they just can't kill him. You can see it in action in the Mother Cybele video. I think this is a really fun sort of team. And you could just see what Vogoth is doing there. They're throwing in these AoE smacks, and yes, some damage sticks. But look at this healing. Look at this healing, guys. Like, it's insane. And this, like you saw, this is my generalist build Vogoth. This is a Vogoth who is not specifically built for the arena, right? We take this Vogoth and we crank his max HP up higher. We give him a curing set. We give him a guardian set. We give him stuff like that. We specialize his masteries to just be that health battery, and he could do this job even better. And it combos really well with a reviver like Rector Drath or Mother Cybele with her Revive on Death. It becomes very annoying for them to deal with. And it's like, yeah, sure, Herndig put out 100,000 damage. Calvlax put out 84,000. Hegemon 45,000. But guess what? Barely. I mean, they got Rector Drath a little bit low at one point. She got hit pretty hard and she got taken down. She got crit. But apart from that, they just couldn't make a dent in us. Why? Partially because of Helior, to be fair. Partially because of that. But and you know, Rector Drath with the damage reduction from Perfect Veil, that's 15% damage reduction. Mother Cybele gave us increased defense. Yes, that was part of it. But the reason our health bars were often so topped up is because Vogoth, he's getting smacked the most, and it's great because he just heals everyone. It's completely insane. So really cool champion for the arena. Makes them very strong for tag team arena. I'm curious, probably we don't have too many, but here you can see, actually, look at this. Here we've got a couple of real teams. So he's not showing up in all of them, but there's one guy here. Look, here's one dude who has beaten Doom Tower hard, right? He's beaten, you know, this rotation of Doom Tower hard, the hardest rotation, the Bommal rotation. He has beaten it. What does he have? Look at this. In his arena team, there is a Vogoth. He's in there. He's showing up. Let's refresh. There's probably most going to be empty teams. Here we go. Another dude. Look at this. Level 92. Here we go in. What's he got? There is Vogoth. You can get some ideas. Look at this. This guy, Mr. Impose down here, there is a Vogoth. He is in there. He is showing up in these teams all the time. He is regularly showing up. There's another one. There we go. Another guy, another Vogoth showing up to be a pain in the butt. You can see that these are often go second teams, right? So this is a team with high resistance. So it's a Lydia, probably with high resistance, Rector Drath with high resistance. They're going to be going second. So Vogoth with the healing helps them survive the first nuke. Maybe Rector Drath picks them back up, and then hopefully Mountain King one-shot someone. Then Lydia blocks revive, and you kind of sort of steamroll from there. That's the idea of that sort of team. Vogoth, and this is the same sort of idea, but Vogoth's the only one that heals, and then Nekret is going to sort of protect them, keep them alive. That's interesting. This one over here, similar sort of thing with a Trunda who's going to nuke, and then hopefully they have enough to stay alive. So some interesting teams, some interesting ideas. I'd be curious. I probably should have checked this before starting the video. I didn't, but probably not going to be in the absolute top tier of Platinum because, you know, there's legendaries. But here we go. What right now, obviously it's the middle of the week, but rank 35 in Platinum right now. What has he got in there? It's our friend Vogoth. He's in there. Yes, he is. He's going in with a Sifi, a Duchess, and a Rotos. So the idea here, again, is that it's just really hard to kill this team. They got 2 revivers. They're going to be very high resistance. They're going to be good speed on the Sifi, most likely, as well. And it's just Rotos is difficult to kill. You can't one-shot the Rotos most of the time. Only some champions can. It's a bit more specific because of his passive. Vogoth hopefully heals him up, helps him stay alive, and then Rotos will just bounce through and kill people. So, I mean, there's one team with him in. There's probably going to be more, but you can flick through yourself. And we're not finding any right now, but he is there. He is a champion that shows up. You know, when apart from that, it's mostly these void rares, right? Mostly. So he does have a showing in there. He absolutely does, which is really cool. I guess the final sort of area to show him in, let's throw together like a random team for Ice Golem. I don't know. Let's say, I mean, probably even stage 25, it probably works. Would this be really slow? I'll probably edit this out because it's going to be really slow. I'll probably edit to where we get to the boss. But in terms of building a team, so Vogoth, he's going to help us stay alive against those retaliation slams from the Ice Golem. So we put in something like Vogoth. That's going to work really well. Then let's put in, I tell you who'd be really good here, actually. Let's put in our boy Sigmund the High Shield, right? Who's going to put decrease attack on the boss. He gives us a shield and a strengthen buff. So he will help us stay alive. Let's put in Lydia just to speed up the run. Will that piss people off? People get pissed off when I use Lydia. Will we use Lydia? Will we use Seer? Okay, hang on. Let me pause it. Let me think of a team here. Okay, so let's go like a team like this. So yeah, I know it's some legendaries, but I think just to illustrate, and we'll see how it goes. So this should be a decent team for it. We got obviously a couple of weak affinities here, but the idea with this is that we have Urgrim in the lead, giving us a speed aura, which is nice, and he's also giving us a bunch of poisons and healing. So we'll see. So he gives us some direct healing with the heal there. We have Sigmund, who's going to be giving us some shielding, and he's going to give us AoE strengthen as well to help survive the retaliation hits. He also puts out these AoE provokes. He puts out AoE decreased attack. So Sigmund is fantastic. We have Vogoth in here as well, who's going to hopefully be healing us, particularly against the boss. Lydia is just to speed up the run because decreased defense and weaken. We don't have a ton of damage. And then Tutora is in here to give us increased defense so that we hit harder with Tutora and with Sigmund. And Tutora gives us Perfect Veil to help us survive with this move. Tutora also does good damage, albeit he will weak hit quite a bit because these enemies are blue affinity. So yeah, obviously we've got a bunch of legendaries in here, which is going to help us out a whole ton. But I'll just pause when we get to the boss, and we'll see if we can see that Vogoth stuff in action against the Ice Golem. Let's see. Okay, guys, so I'm back. Obviously, Lydia blocked the first revive. He should be coming around to the other one. I think maybe I made this team too tanky. Sigmund and Tutora are kind of doing most of the job of protecting them from damage. But we'll see. Hopefully, some of these retaliation hits start kicking in. Here we go. He's going to Frigid Vengeance. Okay, he didn't make that much of a dent, but still, some of that healing is coming from Vogoth. I actually think I did make this team too tanky. This hasn't been the best showcase. What we could do, let's try force him. Let's see if we can fail the run. So let's attack the boss. Let's see if we can get him to trigger retaliation hit while 2 ads are still alive. It might just kill us. It's quite possible. Well, we shall see. We shall see. He does have that decrease attack. Come on, boss. Let's smack us. Can we see a big Vogoth? Here we go. Here we go. Oh, boom. Big chunk, big damage. But we could see there, Vogoth is doing part of keeping people alive through that, which is pretty good. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, kind of hard to see in this one. We had a lot of other stuff like the shields and the strengthens. Obviously not a super quick run. By the way, Sigmund is a great champion. Look at that, Sigmund. Same damage as Tora. Now, obviously, Sigmund, I guess, had positive affinity, which did help against like the waves. The minions on the boss, though, are both affinities. But that's an impressive amount of damage from him protecting us. So, yeah, Vogoth, he did some. He did some of keeping us alive. And also, of course, as well, putting out Leech. Whenever any of the enemies hit us, the boss just had permanent Leech on him, which gives us another source of healing as well. So that one wasn't the best showcase, but it's to give you an idea of just the sort of place that you would put him in a dungeon team. It's basically to give you that crowd control on the waves to stop them hurting you so much, thanks to his provokes and his decreased attack he puts against the waves. And then also providing you some decent healing. Bearing in mind, against the boss, it's only doing 25% healing. But it still does, it adds up to that little bit extra. It does add up. But yeah, he's fantastic. Obviously, I didn't show you Demon Lord Clan Boss. Let me whip up a quick team to show you an idea for what would work in Demon Lord Clan Boss. Okay, so I forgot to pause right there. We'll see if I remember to edit it out. I have to go cook dinner, so I will see if I remember afterwards. Otherwise, it can be a weird, awkward pause with me looking very intent during a little bit of that video. But I think this was actually like the team that we worked out for my girlfriend with the stuff that she had, that she was using for quite a while. And Vogoth is a big part of this. So what we have going on in a team like this is that Vogoth, he's in the final position of that Demon Lord, so that just, it makes the healing a bit more effective overall. And the big thing that he's doing is giving us that leech and also that potential to extend debuffs. He does decent damage as well, guys. He does pretty decent damage with that A1 because it's a triple hitter with Giant Slayer. And this is the sort of team he's good. So you got something like Sepulchre Sentinel coming in that gives you the block debuffs and increased defense. And she also can prevent some damage. She brings you decreased attack on her A1. Then we have Razin, obviously a fusion, who gives you decreased defense and weaken. He also has that triple hitter on his A1. Farrakhan the Fats, someone coming in with like ally attack that gives you increased crit rate, crit damage. That works really well with something like Vogoth, right? Works really well with Vogoth, where you might not be building your Vogoth with 100% crit. In fact, for this sort of team, you'd leave him at 70% maximum and let Farrakhan crank it up to that 100%. He triggers that ally attack, which is quite nice. Gives Vogoth another, opportunity to extend some of those debuffs. Farrakhan brings you HP burn and poisons, also decreased defense, which again, Vogoth can potentially extend. And then something like a Skull Crusher, who brings you ally protection to help keep people alive, and counterattack for, again, more of those A1s, which is where Vogoth, who's this A1 champion for Clan Boss, really thrives. So this would be, I think, a good example. It's a Clan Boss team that worked really well for her. As like a decent sort of mid-game-ish sort of team. I think it was like it could 1-key Nightmare and would 2 to 3-key Ultra Nightmare. Sort of would depend on affinity, of course. You're vulnerable to that, and she's switching it up for a more advanced sort of unkillable team now. But it's the sort of rough team that you could put Vogoth in. And what does Vogoth do in particular? Well, he has a good A1 to combo with the ally attack and counterattacks, extending these debuffs so that it makes the decreased defense and weaken, it makes the poisons, HP burn, it makes the decreased attack more consistent because he can extend them. That's really good too. And then even more importantly, if you didn't have Vogoth here, everyone would need to be in lifesteal gear so that, they could actually heal up against the clan boss, because we don't have a healer. Vogoth, because of that lifesteal gear, actually turns basically the counterattack, the ally attack, into healing moves, essentially, because War Master procs, Giant Slayer in the case of Razin, and Vogoth procs, and those procs do so much damage against the boss, it heals you tons because of the leech. So it's a really cool thing. So there you go, guys. That is Vogoth. Incredible champion. I think, by the way, he's not great for Hydra, one of his weaker areas for Hydra, but so good in so many areas of the game. As you saw on my account, I'm building 3 of them. I'm actually going to be building 3 of them. You could even potentially build 4 of them. Like, you could totally make it happen. just such a cool champion. Absolutely phenomenal champion, and completely unique. There's just no one that has passives quite like him. I think the funniest thing is that he's got two passives, and then the second one has actually two effects. It's got two passives in the one passive on a man who has two passives. He's crazy. He's up there with like Little Miss Annie and Necret the Great and all that sort of stuff, being like, we have like, look at Little Miss Annie. It's like, I have so many abilities. Vogoth sort of does the same sort of thing. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.